Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I am Koala and I am a shamanic practitioner mainly within the Nordic practice, but I'm also initiated into Nustakarpai and the Munaki rites within the Kira medicine. Today we're gonna talk about runes, okay? So first I'm gonna start by sounding all of the 24 runes of the Uthark. So just listen and enjoy the sound of them, I guess. And this is a way to summon the runes and call upon the runes before working with the runes in any way. Uthark, Reid, Gifu, Wynja, Hagal, Naudis, Jara, Pertra, Algiz, Tyr, Bjarka, Eohwaz, Dagesfe. Uthark, Reid, Gifu, Wynja, Hagal, Naudis, Jara, Pertra, Algiz, Tyr, Bjarka, Eohwaz, Dagesfe. Uthark, Reid, Gifu, Wynja, Hagal, Naudis, Jara, Pertra, Algiz, Tyr, Bjarka, Eohwaz, Dagesfe. Okay, so there are no rules when it comes to sounding the runes, except for maybe sounding each and every one of them with the proper sound. But it's not a song that you need to learn, and of course you need to learn the order of the runes, but it's not a song in the way that you know it has like a pitch or a tone or note that you need to manage properly. It's about finding your own connection to the runes with the sound of them, and finding your note or finding your way of sounding the runes that makes your connection to them stronger. And when you worked with them in that way for a while, they speak to you with your intuition. You can feel the runes and get their message. So when I sound the runes, they talk to me and speak to me about how I'm doing, how I should take care of myself. It's a very personal relationship with all of the runes. It's like coming into a room filled with people that are a mirror of yourself, and they are part of yourself and mirror different aspects of yourself depending on what each and every rune mean or symbolize, and greeting all of these and let them show you how you are feeling or how you're doing or what you need to work on or what you they just send a message when so when it flows, I know I'm good. That's like the simplest way of looking at it, that when the sound of the rune has a good flow, I feel good. And if one rune is kind of off key or one rune is not sounding like it should, or then I know something's off, and what is off I can determine from which rune it is, and I can choose to meditate on that and go deeper into that rune and find out what it wants to convey to me. So today, for instance, I know that my sounding is a bit more nasal than usual. So, and I have had a cold. I'm still going through the end part of like a clearing process that I talked a little bit about during my morning ritual videos last week. So I'm at the end of that, and I can feel it and hear it when I sound the runes. So it's a way of communicating with the runes and getting to know them and getting to know myself through the runes. So this is my rune bag, And I'm not going to show you all of the runes spread out, because I'm not going to talk about all of the runes. In previous videos, when I've done this kind of introduction to the runes, I've talked about each and every one of the 24 runes and what they mean, and what they symbolize, and what story they tell. But today I'm gonna go about it from a different point of view. I'm gonna talk shortly about how you can use the runes in your practice. So, because I don't really talk about that a lot, that's something that that's such a big part of the way I live my life. But a friend of mine recently reminded me of the fact that what is clear and obvious to me is not clear and obvious to beginners and to people that aren't really familiar with the runes. So she urged me to go back to basic and, you know, just make sure I share the foundation a bit more, because she said that when she watches my videos sometimes she feels like it's like going over her head. It's too much information or too detailed or too... So I'm listening to that. So I'm gonna talk shortly about divination, Bindrunes, journeying, healing, and using the runes as a map of cosmos, and how some of these relate to the concept of sejdr. But I'm gonna do it so that the video isn't too long. So I think one of the most common uses of runes are as a divination tool, and you've probably come across the concept of spa, which is spelled S-P-A in English with an apostrophe over the A, but in Swedish it's S-P-O, and O is a letter that is an A with a circle above it, and we have O as well, but it's O, and then we have O. So it's different vowels. There are different vowels, and so we use runes for spa. And to use the runes as a divination tool is to you really need to work on your intuition. So when you get to know the runes, at the same time you need to work on your intuition, and with intuition I mean the ability to just receive messages and receive interpretations from the cosmos and the universe, and not overthink it, because there's not much to overthink, and if you overthink runes then you have to then it would just be too much, because the wrong way of doing it is learning all of the meanings of every rune and then try to apply it to the current situation, which is what most skeptics think, that people that use divination tools and just what they think we do. I think they think that's what we do, that we just have like an explanation for a card or a rune, and then we use that explanation and we try to apply it to the current situation. That's the wrong way of going about it. The right way of going about it is to, of course, know the meanings of each and every rune, but to use that as a channel to the cosmos. So for me, I use my intuition as my primary tool, and then the runes show there's channels to different kind of energies and places in the universe, and they direct me in a way, and they tell a story. They are also my friends. They are also like personalities and individuals and entities and beings that tell a story. So it's I use it as a medium between me and the cosmos. So and it's my favorite tool to use. So you can use it instead of tarot cards or oracle cards or any other divination tools, like no, I'm not gonna name anymore. I'm just gonna mispronounce them in English. So the way to go about it is to, of course, learn the meanings and interpretations, but that's just a basis. That just gives you a picture of the landscape that is within every rune. It's not to be interpreted and used in every situation where you answer a question with the runes or use the runes as a tool. So I think that's the way to go about it, no matter what divination tool you uses. There are divination tools that might appear to be a clearer channel to the cosmos and the universe, like using a bowl of water and the moon. I don't know the English word for that. But, and then there are more complicated ways of using like tarot cards with a lot of symbolic meaning. For me, that's complication. I need the clearest channel possible. But for a lot of people, that's the easier way to go about it, because it opens up. So when I use tarot cards, I use tarot cards that speak to my aesthetic mind, to my aesthetic sense, so that they wake and awaken my intuition. With the runes, each and every one of the runes are charged with their respective energies, so there are symbolic meanings, but also like there's magic within each and every rune symbol. So when I first work with like a set of runes, I awaken them with my breath, I greet them with my breath, and I awaken their inner spirit. So I awaken the channel and the individual that each and every rune is, and then as they are more awakened, as I work with them more, they are charged with my energy, but also with their own energy. And so in the beginning, I am the channel. When I teach someone, I help them develop their intuition, and I help them become, when they learn about the runes, they are the channels for the energy towards the runes. And then when they have a good relationship with the runes, and they have a good relationship with themselves and their intuition, and they have a good sense of knowledge about each and every rune, they can start listening to the runes and using them as a divination tool. So it's not something you can do, just pick up a rune and interpret it. Of course, if you have a great intuition, and if you yourself is a hollow bone and a great channel, then maybe you can pick up a rune and get a sense of what it wants to say. That happens, of course, but it depends on you. So, but if you want to work with the runes, that's the way to go about it, to learn about the runes, but also connect with them. So a divination tool is the foremost, I think it's the first and foremost usage of the runes, but there are also bind runes, and binding runes are a bit more complicated, because then you're merging runes for a specific purpose. So you need to know your purpose, you need to know the runes, you need to know your purpose, and you need to know how to combine them and merge them and integrate them into a bind rune that fulfills your purpose. No matter how you're gonna use it. I have designed bind runes for people that want to use them in a hand fasting ceremony, like they want to maybe tattoo them within the ceremony of getting married or hand fasting. So hand fasting is the old way of getting married. So I have designed bind runes for that. I have designed bind runes for different people that need them for different things, like people come to me with a purpose and they ask for a bind rune, and I bind the rune for them, and then they need to activate that bind rune. They need to when I bind a rune for them, I choose, or you know, I'm just a channel for which runes are to be in this binding, and to fulfill the purpose that we want to fulfill, and then I give that together with an activation ritual to the person or people that's gonna use the bind rune. And it's very, very, very personal. It doesn't work with the people that aren't supposed to use it, because it's very personally channeled. And I'm also talking about this because this is something you need to think about when looking at old bind runes, that they once had a purpose for specific people, for one person probably, or a family of people, yeah, they had a specific purpose. So it's not necessarily the case that we can just take an old bind rune, even though we might know the meaning of it, and use it in a way that we feel fit, because it depends on which runes are binded into a rune, what the original purpose was. There are a few bind runes that we know the purpose of in such a great way that we can use them today, like Ägishjälmur and Vägvisaren. So Ägishjälmur is it's a protective rune. It's called the Helmet of Terror, I would say. It's a bind rune that is said to have been used in battle. So it was carved into or painted onto the soldiers, or whatever you want to call the people in the battle, and it was supposed to put fear in the opponent. So but it's also a protective rune that gathers the protection of all the ancestors and all the spirit animals and spirit guides, and everyone they just gather around you to protect you in that battle. So that's a very, very powerful rune, bind rune to utilize. So it's called Ägishjälmur. In Swedish it's Skräckhjälmen. So Ägishjälmur is the Norse, the original name of it. And then we have Vägvisaren, which is the Swedish name of it, and I don't remember the original name of it, but it's called a Pathfinder. And so that's the use of it to find your way through life. And it's a very complicated rune that I think have both hidden runes and visible runes within it. And hidden runes, or runor, hidden runes are a way of using runes in a coded manner that is very, very complicated. So these are two bind runes from very early in the use of runes that we know the usage of, and they're very popular. I would say that it's the one of them that would work the best is Ägishjälmur, or Skräckhjälmen, the Helmet of Terror, because that's the one we know the most. It's the simplest one as well. It's one or two runes binded in a pattern, and it's very easy to do and make, and it doesn't have a lot of hidden runes or hidden meanings, and it's a more straightforward kind of bind rune. But any other bind rune from back in the day, we have almost no knowledge about what it was used for. So as a shamanic practitioner, as someone that is very versed in the shamanic practice, I have ways to find out the purpose of a bind rune from the past. I can journey with it. I can go into it and really, talk to it or get the message from it. If it's something that isn't too hidden, because sometimes things are hidden for a reason. But sometimes when we know the reason for a bind rune, it doesn't mean we can use it, because sometimes it was for that purpose, back in that time, for a specific time, for a specific person, and today it's just a beautiful piece of art. So we need to remember that, and to honor it as it is supposed to be honored, whether it is a piece of art, if it's a piece of history, or if it's to be used. So Bindrunes are very popular, and it's one of the things that I do the most workshops in, to bind runes, to help people bind runes. So I also mentioned journeying, and what have I written down? Medicine. Yeah, so journeying with the runes are I think you have to start in another end of it, so to speak. So you can use the runes as a map of cosmos. We have 2 maps of cosmos when it comes to the runes. We have one map of the 9 worlds, and I'm gonna do a series for the next 2 months with this map. This is a map of cosmos, even though it doesn't look like much. But this is a map of cosmos. It's 9 runes in a circle, and with 1 rune in the middle. And this is the Tree of Life. This is a very simplified version of the Tree of Life, the Yggdrasil. So I'm gonna do a next week I'm gonna talk more about this, and like an introduction to the 9 worlds and this map of the cosmos. Another way to use the runes because this is a map we use when we journey a lot, within or without. We go through the different 9 worlds that are known to us. So, or realms. So, a different way of using the runes as a map of cosmos is using all of the 24 runes and their meanings, and each of them channel very much information and energy, and we can journey to discover that energy and that information and their place in the cosmos. So, for instance, I'm gonna take a few and just see. I'm gonna take a few, like, okay, here's 4 different. So let's see. So the first one I get is or Insuz, but is the Norse name of it. So this is the rune of ice, right? But it's also the rune of Niflheim, which is one of the lower worlds. And it's the rune of clarity and the rune of insight. So with this rune, when we journey with this rune, looks simple enough, right? When we journey with this rune, we can discover the world of ice that is below us, the world of clarity, but also the world of fear, and the world of phobias, the world of Skadi, the Norse goddess, that is the goddess of winter and ice. So when we journey with this rune, we find a lot of that, but we can also journey to find clarity within a situation, or something like that. Or we can journey, when it comes to medicine, we can use sejdr is a concept that actually means to just make magic with the runes, or make magic the Norse way. And one of the ways is to journey to gather the energy and the force of, for example, this rune, to heal a person or to aid in healing. So we gather all of that energy, we are the channel that brings forth this energy to this ordinary reality and manifest it into this world, and to heal a person, a situation, or a location. So the next rune is Eo, or Eohwaz. This is the rune of this is actually a rune that is the rune of the Tree of Life. So it's also the rune of herbs and herbal medicines, and to journey with this, we can journey to find what plant should we use in this purpose, or this. So if someone has if I continue to have a cold for months and months, or maybe not that long, but I would probably get sick of it before that. So we say, if I continue to have problems with a specific part of my body, and no matter what I do, no matter how many doctors I see, no matter how many, medicines I try, nothing works. I can use this rune in two ways. I can journey with this rune to find where in the inner cosmos that the problem lies, because this is in and of itself the map of the world and your inner world. We can also journey with this rune to find out what plant might aid that illness. So that's what I mean with using it as a map of the cosmos, but also as a healing tool, or and this is sejdr. So this is the rune Jara or Jera, and it's the rune of a lot of different things. It's the rune of love, it's the rune of the sacred feminine, one of the runes of the sacred feminine. It's also the rune of completion, of completing cycles, the cycle of the year, the moon, or of healing. So when we journey with this rune, it depends on our purpose of journeying, but we can journey with it to gather a lot of sacred feminine energy, to bring it forth into this reality. We can also journey with it for completion, so we can journey with this rune in the purpose of using sejdr to aid someone in their healing journey, and to figure out what is the way of completion for this person, or this journey that this person is on, this healing journey. So we can journey with this. And when I talk about journeying, what I really talk about is maybe use a drum, like the one I have behind me, and go deep. So when we journey, using a drum is one way. You can use depending on how versed you are, how experienced you are, you can use different ways of journeying. Drums is a very good way to go deep, because the beat of the drum allows you to relax and still keep a focus, so you are still connected to your physical body, to this world, with the sound of the drum. At the same time, you can let go and go deep and journey within yourself or outside of yourself, which is another completely other video and a course on how that works. But when we journey, we use an intention. The intention can be to explore, but it should be also, you should kind of narrow it down to, what do I want to explore? Do I want to explore the world of ice? Do I want to explore the Tree of Life? Do I want to go into the Tree of Life, meet Ratatosk, Ratatosk is the name of the squirrel that runs up and down the tree, and he's like a guide of the 9 worlds, and he's a messenger between the worlds. So he's a very good entity to be the first one to get to know. So there's a lot to think about when journeying. Right now I'm just talking about how the runes can be used in journeying. So, and the last one is this rune. This is the rune that is actually the basis of Ægishjelmur, that Bindrune I was talking about. So Ægishjelmur is effectively 4 or 6 Algiz in a circle, in a pattern, and sometimes also with one rune that binds them all together. So this rune is the rune of protection, is the rune of the spirit animals and the protective spirits of the cosmos, and it's the rune of your own protective bubble, your own. When you use it when you get this rune in divination, it can mean that you should let your guard. You should work on your protective bubble or your protection against certain things, or it can also mean that you need to let your guard down and let people in, and that sort of thing. So this is the rune of protection, and so this is a rune we can journey with to find to get to know our protective spirits. spirits and our spirit animals, because this is also the rune of the animal kingdom. So if we can use this rune to the Eo or Eohwaz to figure out what plant may be used in aiding a healing. This one we can journey with to find out if there are any of our spirit animals or power animals that has a message for us, or if they can come through, their energy can come through and give us healing, or maybe show us a way forward if we are on a pathfinding journey. So I can talk about this for ages, and that's why that's why it takes courses to learn this stuff. So I have talked about journeying and healing and sejdr, the concept of sejdr, which is to make magic, most often using the runes to do it in one way or another. And doing sejdr can either mean that we journey and journey to explore, or journey to... Sejdr means we have a purpose in what we're doing. Most often a purpose of helping someone or helping a situation or a location with something. So, for instance, there can be an area we want to help where there have been a lot of fires or something, and we want to aid in the healing of the place, of the location of the place. We can then go to that place in real life, and you be on that spot and journey there. Or we can be at home in our own comfort zone, in our own sacred space. We can journey to that location and bring forth the energies that needs to be bring forth to heal that place, and then bring them back with us to this reality when we get out of the journey and start to manifest those powers. So it's complicated, but when you do it, it's complicated to learn about, but it's quite easy to do if you just follow the guidance or follow the intuition, and as long as you learned how to journey in a safe way. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Divination, Bindrunes, journeying in medicine and healing, and the map of cosmos. So the runes are 24. They can be 25 if we count the Empty Rune, which we most often count the Empty Rune when we use the runes for divination. Then there are 25, and the Empty Rune is the rune of destiny. It's the rune that contains everything and nothing. But it's not often used as a tool in any other way of working with the runes. But I do meditate with it, and we journey with it in my ceremonies that I hold with the runes or for the runes. So I think there's much more to the Empty Rune than we utilize. Just like we only utilize a part of our brain and the other part is not utilized at all. I think there's so much potential within the runes, and working with the runes and getting to know the runes it's a lifelong journey in and of itself. And it's a path that I am on, and I will never sway. I would say I master it, but there's also a lot of new things to learn along the way. And the runes are my primary teachers in everything that I do. So that's my introduction to the runes today. And as I said, I might in the future do a video talking about each and every one of the runes again, because I think I removed my last video of that. And in the next 2 months I will share videos with you about each and every one of the 9 realms, talking about what they are. So the first video of those are gonna be next week. I'm gonna do an introduction to all of the 9 worlds, talk about them as a concept, and what I used that map of Cosmos for. So this is my cloth. On this side of the cloth is where I cast my runes, or throw my runes, and draw my runes. And on this side is the map of Cosmos. The simplified tree of life, Yggdrasil. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you again next week, and until then, walk in beauty. I walk with the runes. Xingling.